In this lecture, I will be discussing on a question: why even ball bearings require lubrication? Right? I'll write it. Why even ball bearings require lubrication. I will be discussing to find a solution, or I will discussing on the solution for this question, right? So, before going into that, I will just draw the sketch of a ball bearing first. Let's assume the inner race is like this and the outer race is like this, and let us assume there are balls as shown here, right? There are balls as shown here. Actually, in between the balls, there will be ball holder, right? That will retain the balls in position, right? There will be a chain-like arrangement that will retain the balls in position, right? Let us assume the diameter of the outer race is dia 40, right? And that of the inner race is dia 20, and that of the each roller is dia 10, right? So if this diameter is 10 mm, this will be 10 mm. So 10 plus 10, 20 plus 20, that will be the diameter of outer race, right? 40 mm. This is called as outer race. This is called as outer race. This is called as inner race. And this is ball or roller. This is ball, or it can be roller also. Right? Now, carefully watch that in any bearing, either the inner race will be fixed, nor the outer race will be fixed. That is, either the inner race will be stationary or the outer race will be stationary. Let us assume this bearing is used in a motor, electric motor, right? So this inner race will be mounted on the shaft, right? So inner race will be rotating, whereas outer race will be fixed, because outer race will be fixed to the casing, right? And so outer race will not rotate. Only the inner race will rotate, because and the inner race, the bearing, if the bearing is mounted on it like this, so along with the inner race, the shaft will rotate like this, right? The shaft will rotate like this, right? So inner race is mounted over the shaft, and so inner race will be rotating along with the shaft, whereas outer race, which is fixed to the casing of the motor, that will be stationary, right? So outer race will not rotate, right? So what I will do to show that, I'll say that outer race is shown fixed like this. This is a symbol to show that outer race is fixed, right? Outer race does not move, right? Whereas the inner race only will rotate, right? Let us assume the inner race rotate like this, right? The inner race rotate like this. When the inner race rotate like this ball will rotate like this, or roller will rotate like that, right? So here the ball or roller will rotate like that, right? So when the inner race rotate like this will rotate and roll over it like this, right? This will rotate, right? So here you see, when it rotates like this, how it will rotate? See, I'm sorry. When it rotates like this, it will rotate like this, right? It will rotate like this. So, it will, am I right? So, inner race when it rotates like this, outer race will rotate like, right? Okay. So, the ball, when the inner race is rotating like this, the roller will move in the other direction, right? Or ball will move in the other direction, right? Actually, now we have to carefully watch. That is, this ball or roller is in touch with the outer race, as well it is in touch with the inner race, right? So when the ball rolls like this, right? So when the ball rolls like this, the ball will, how it will move? If it rolls, it will go like this. So ball will move in this direction, right? Do you understand? Ball will roll over the outer race like this, right? At the same time, ball as it rolls, it will, see, okay. So it is like this. Now, you may please observe that, here I will write it here. Actually, see, on the outer race, let us assume, see, the periphery of, or the circumference of outer race. Circumference outer race is equal to, as shown in this example, pi into 40, right? Pi into 40. Whereas the circumference of inner race is equal to pi into 20, right? As the ball is in touch with both the inner race and outer race, right? And let us assume this ball goes through one full rotation like this, right? This ball goes through one full rotation like this and reach here, right? When it reaches here like this, how much distance does the ball should roll over the outer race? It should roll over the outer race through a distance of pi into 40, right? Whereas the same ball should roll over the inner race also, right? So how much distance it will cover? Pi into 20, right? The same ball, as it rolls, it should roll over the outer race, simultaneously it should roll over the inner race also, right? When that is the case, on the outer race it has to cover this distance, and on the inner race it has to cover this distance, right? So what is the whole problem is, how does one ball or roller cover two different distances when it is in contact on both the surfaces, right? It is not possible, right? So it is possible only if there is sliding as well rolling over the outer race and the inner race, right? So that means the ball, as it rolls to some distance, it will simultaneously slide and roll, right? So over the inner race and over the outer race, this ball or roller will slide as well roll over simultaneously on the outer race and inner race, right? Because of this sliding, right, friction will be there, right? Sliding friction will be there, and because of this sliding friction, the bearing will get heated, overheated, right? And it will reach very high temperature if the sliding friction is not reduced, right? So what we do is generally even a ball or roller bearing is sufficiently lubricated so that the sliding friction is reduced as much as possible, right? And as friction is reduced, overheating of the bearing also will be eliminated or reduced, right? So that is how even a ball or roller bearing has to get lubricated, right? Because even in a ball or roller bearing, though we think that it is going to only roll over the surface, it is not going to only roll over the surface of the outer race and inner race. It is going to simultaneously slide and roll over. So the balls or rollers are going to simultaneously slide and roll over the inner and outer surfaces, right? So because of this reason only, all ball bearings and roller bearings or whatever may be the bearings, they all have to get lubricated, right? We'll see another case, right, where let us assume the outer race is not fixed, outer race is allowed to rotate, right? Outer race is allowed to rotate and inner race is also allowed to rotate, right? We will assume both the outer and inner races are allowed to rotate, right? To understand. So when it is the case, the outer race will be like this, right? It will be like this. Okay, so as the inner race rotate like this, right? They will be rolling like this, and along with that, right? As it is going to see this, if this is going to be the direction of rotation, the outer race will rotate in this direction, right? Inner race will rotate in this direction, outer race will rotate in the opposite direction, right? If it is not fixed, right? And the roller as it rolls, it will be going on, it will be slowly rotating like this, right? So here in this case, if both the outer and inner races are allowed to rotate, right, only then there will be no sliding, right? Do you understand? No sliding between roller and inner race or outer race, right? So because outer race also allowed to rotate, inner race is also allowed to rotate, this roller is also allowed to rotate, right? So there will be a relationship between the RPM of this to this and to this, right? So actually there is a positive there is a positive engagement between roller and outer race, and there is a positive engagement between roller and inner race, right? So in such case, right, actually this is the same roller or ball bearing, if both inner and outer races are allowed to move, and if movement is going to take place between the roller and outer race and the roller and inner race, then the system becomes epicyclic gear train. I tell you, right? It is called, see, the same thing, it is nothing but, I tell you, instead of having a small roller like this, it can be a gear tooth like this, right? Do you understand? So it can be a gear tooth like this. It can be a gear tooth like this. So here the inner race, this one also can be a gear like this, right? If there is going to be positive movement or positive engagement between the inner race and outer race like this, then see the system becomes like this, right? So it becomes like a gear, right? The whole thing becomes like a gear, right? So if it is a gear, definitely there should be positive movement taking place. Do you understand? So if it is a gear like this, so this one is called as planetary gear, right? This one is called as planetary gear. Instead of ball or roller, we call it as planetary gear. This is called as planetary gear. This is called as planetary gear, right? Whereas the center one, which is the inner race, if it is replaced by a gear, it is called a sun gear. It is called sun gear, right? And this one, the outer race, if it is going to be a gear, right, then we call it as ring gear, right? Ring gear, right? Then the system is called as epicyclic gear train. Epicyclic gear train, right? Right? So if one of the gear is controlled, right, the other will automatically adjust. See, for example, if this particular gear is allowed or permitted to only rotate at a particular RPM, then these two will adjust itself to rotate in a relatively, and the speed of these two gears will change suitably or accordingly, right? So this particular system, epicyclic gear train, is used in automobiles, right? As a gear for gear instead of gearbox, it is used as this epicyclic gear train can be used as something like a gearbox, right? And for controlling what in such case what they will do, so these planetary gears, all these planetary gears, like fingers, it will be like this, right? All mounted on these fingers, right? Each gear is mounted on these fingers, right? So it will be like this, and on the whole, it will be rotating like this, right? The planetary gear system, it is all mounted on fingers like this. It will rotate like this, right? Whereas sun gear is mounted on a shaft, and ring gear is mounted on another shaft, right? So here this can be used something like a gearbox to change the speed, right? And simultaneously, whenever the speed changes, the torque or turning moment also changes, and it is used in automobiles, right? So the same bearing, in the case of bearing, what I am trying to say is, in the case of bearing, the outer race or inner race will be stationary or fixed, right? But if it is not going to be allowed to, if it is allowed to move, then it becomes a case of epicyclic gear train, right? So in all bearings, one or either inner race or outer race will be fixed, and it will be stationary only. Whereas, so I have explained the difference between the bearing and the epicyclic gear train, right? In the case of epicyclic gear train, both the outer gear, ring gear, sun gear, and planetary gear, everything will be allowed to move, and the movement will be positive, right? Whereas if it is going to be a bearing, then these rollers will be slipping as well. Simultaneously, it will be rolling, right? So it will be sliding and rolling, right? Here it is going to be totally positive movement, right? There is not going to be any sliding here, right? The same thing, the same arrangement in one case, if outer or inner race is fixed, it is bearing. If it is going to be positive movement, the same thing will become epicyclic gear train, right? Epicyclic gear train, there will be no sliding, right? Only positive movement will be between the planetary gear, sun gear, and ring gear will be there. Or in the case of bearings, there will be slipping or sliding, simultaneous slipping or sliding, and rolling between these balls, and the outer and inner races will be there, right? Thank you.